And we'll get into what they traded for him here in a little bit. A little higher, maybe in a couple spots of what you would like. But you know what? Like I told you guys in the chat, this is a Vikings team that has actual Super Bowl expectations. And you know what? I'm all for them going all in and bringing in a veteran player. He's going to help you during the beginning stretch of the season, that 3-game stretch that we need him the most. He'll be a reliable piece down the line for the team as well, too. I'm excited to have the move done. Welcome back to Minnesota, Adam Thielen.
I think the Vikings might have overpaid a little bit, but I'm not mad at it at all. And seeing that video of Adam Thielen with his daughter and them being so happy to come back to Minnesota, that hit me right in the feels. It sure did.
They're going home. That's what they said. They're coming back home.
Yeah, you can tell, like, sometimes people, and this isn't negative or positive, like, I'm not talking one way or another. Some people are very good at keeping a poker face, not letting it out, but you can tell the genuine emotion from his wife, Caitlin. She's always been, like, very supportive. She's a good spouse on social media, always supporting Adam, and they love Minnesota, obviously, being from there. But you could tell how emotional it was for her and then those kids. Her daughter's at home with her, bouncing around with dad. Oh my gosh, we're going back home. And then I looked a couple hours ago and she told her boys in the car, and they were like, "Are we going to the airport right now? Are we going back right now?" They're pumped. And, Adam Thielen's turned 35. Adam mentioned it just a second ago. I think they paid a little more than they wanted to initially. But with all the news and the stuff that we're going to go over today, because this is going to be a jam-packed episode full of news, the Vikings slowly had been acquiring later round draft picks in the last week. And you knew with all the injuries that have been reported, this was a little breadcrumb that was dropped last week. This was all over Pat McAfee. Kay Adams interviewed Kevin O'Connell to talk about it. It had been tweeted multiple times by Panthers insiders, Viking insiders, all the national media. They just couldn't agree on it. And finally, today they did, one day after the 53-man rosters were set across the league. But we're just happy. I know he's 35. This is probably going to be his last hurrah, if not next year. Man, this is so good. And it comes at a time when the Vikings roster really needs somebody who can step in. There were KJ Osborne's and Kendrick Bourne was talking. I think that's who we're talking about, from New England and Las Vegas. Was he Las Vegas now? I can't remember. Hunter Renfrow got cut from Carolina. So there were options that they could have explored. But I think ultimately this is the best fit, even though he is slightly older than you probably want your receiver to be. And they probably gave up a pick a round higher than I wanted to, but that's fine.
Well, when you think about it, it's interesting for Thielen, too, because he goes from a wide receiver 1 or 2 in Carolina to a possible 3 or 4 in Minnesota.
So for the first 3 weeks of the season, when there's the suspension with Addison, and I'm not sure the injury with Naylor on how well that's going to keep him in or out.
Well, did you see the updates that he just had surgery on his hand and he's hoping to be ready for the opener?
Yeah, I did hear that. Anytime you start talking about surgery, though, like you don't know even if he's ready, at what level he's going to be ready at too. So Thielen is going to be stepping in, I'm assuming, on that wide receiver 2 spot for at least the first 3 games of the season. When Addison comes back, in my opinion, it's just my humble opinion here, but I think Thielen slots in really nicely in that wide receiver 3 area for the team, and then you can kind of you can ease his reps down a little bit and kind of rotate some other talent in that wide receiver 3 spot, and you can use Adam Thielen hopefully when we're making more of a stronger push towards the playoffs down the line. Hey, here's your big reliable veteran receiver out there. You can also use his reps a lot more. You can use him where he's going to excel at, as kind of a red zone receiver, those short yardage situations. He's lost a step in his speed, but he's still an amazing route runner, and he's got excellent hands to go catch the ball with. So I think giving him a little fewer reps as the season progresses is going to help him overall.
But something really interesting is that bringing Thielen in will allow them to put him and Addison on the outsides and put Justin Jefferson in the slot and create crazy matchups that are going to be real tough for defenses if they want to do that.
Yeah, you can move guys kind of like what Brian Flores does on defense. You know how you never know where players are going to line up and who's coming and who's going back in coverage. You can do that a little more now on offense, on where you're going to move Justin Jefferson. Because as we've seen, the way the NFL has kind of progressed over the years is that your players don't just play one position on offense now. You're not just an outside threat receiver. With Justin Jefferson, it's about how can you move him to get the best match for him, put him in the best place to succeed.
Well, when Justin Jefferson was coming out of college, a lot of analysts thought he was just going to be a slot guy.
Right.
And sure, he can excel there, but he showed he can play on the outside. But when you got three wide receivers like this that are going to be there after week 3, you don't have to pigeonhole any guy into any of those spots.
Yep. And I do think that there is talent. I mean, there is talent too on this team. Ty Felton is a weapon that I'm excited to see how he will unfold as the year goes on. And I mean, you got T.J. Hawkinson out there across the middle, and I think that Thielen is going to end up being just like another really good security blanket for J.J. McCarthy. That you're going to know where he's going to be lined up on the field. He'll be in timing with his routes, and that's a great another great target for our young quarterback to grow with.
Now, another big question about Thielen was how his salary cap was going to mess with, the Vikings and what they were trying to do. And I had read that they were trying to work out a restructured deal. Was that able to happen?
I haven't heard. I heard that
check.
I believe the Vikings took on Thielen's full salary, is what I read. But I don't know. I would not be surprised maybe if they're able to do some kind
But
of
from what I
restructure.
understand, they got it under $7 million now, right?
I'm gonna look it up right now. If my
Because I don't know like how much salary cap space the Vikings have, but after trading Harrison Phillips and getting half of his salary back, and then
Yep.
what they still had, I don't think this is going to be too much damage to the salary cap.
Here we go. Adam Thielen cap hit this year 6.6 million. Total cash $7 million. So there you go.
And yeah, that's what Thomas said in the chat, is that the Vikings took on his full contract.
2026 is a void year. So there you go. So they got the. I guess they had the Panthers take on a little bit of that, which is dope. But yeah, let's talk about the compensation here. I was letting you guys go back and forth because I was trying to bring all this up, but we had mentioned early on starting the show, Carolina receives a 2026 fifth round pick and a 27 fourth rounder. Minnesota, in return, got Adam Thielen, a conditional seventh round pick next year, and a fifth rounder in 2027. So when you look at that, Minnesota gets a receiver, a seventh next year, and a fifth in 2027. They gave up a fifth and then a fourth. So
I'm not
balancing that
super.
out, that's not terrible. It's a little higher than I would want. The fourth is kind of crazy, going for like a wide receiver 3. But I get it. I kind of get it. You're getting a player, and it doesn't make me ask questions about
So
this team as much as it does. What are the Panthers thinking? Because you get rid of Hunter Renfrow, and then you get rid of the guy who led your team or is one of your leaders in the receiver room. What,
Well,
Kyle?
I think it's interesting. Like, how many players on that current Vikings roster actually played with Adam Thielen?
Oh, it's true.
Harrison
Is it
Smith.
C.J. Ham and Harrison Smith?
Hawkinson.
Jefferson.
There isn't that many.
Yeah, it's not like it was, and that should tell you how long he's been in the league. I remember Adam
So
Thielen's first touchdown when they were playing at the Gopher Stadium, and he blocked a kick and ran it in on special teams. That's crazy. I didn't realize.
so because I am insane, I have Vikings draft picks just wrote down in front of me right now, because why wouldn't I have that in a notebook, guys? So we gave up. I want to spin this a little bit too. The fourth round draft pick that the Vikings gave up, it's not like we've exactly hit a bunch of home runs with those fourth round picks here recently too. So if you go from 2022 through now, like this is what the Vikings have done in the fourth round. So they drafted a Caleb Evans, no longer on the team. Jay Ward, okay, he's on the active roster. 2024 fourth round was Kyrie Jackson. That's an unfortunate set of circumstances. That one doesn't count. And then 2025, we didn't have a fourth round pick. So, giving up that fourth round pick to bring in Adam Thielen on a team that's, like I said, they've got strong Super Bowl aspirations this year, I'm kind of okay with that. You're
I think
filling
that
in
with the pick Minnesota's acquired so far, if they want a fourth rounder when the draft rolls around,
they can
I
get
think they
one.
might have enough ammunition to move up and get it back.
Right.
I'm trying to get a list of all the undrafted free agents. I thought I took a.
But I don't hold that 2022 draft against the Vikings as hard as some other people might. Because I think that Quincy Mensa walked into that situation and it was just a mess in that front office.
That's fair.
Yeah, without diving too deep into the 2022 draft, because we don't need to do that right now. But you're right, Adam. I think that was you come in late in a process, and the ball was already. Not only was the ball already rolling, the ball was halfway down the hill. I don't know how you stop it at that point. Like, that's just where it was going, and I think it was a learning curve for him as well too. And you look at the more recent drafts underneath him, then they're getting considerably better than what they were
Oh,
at the
yes.
start with it.
So this shores up the wide receiver room temporarily, and then we'll see. Like as the year rolls, I'd say by the bye week, we should have a good idea of whose place goes where. Addison comes back week 4. They want to run the ball more this year. That's going to be something that's going to look a little different than years past with Kevin O'Connell. They're going to run the
Will
ball.
he actually do it?
I think it has to with this quarterback. I think and this is my biggest knock on JJ McCarthy was, yeah, I know it's hard for a quarterback to get in rhythm and to say, hey, I haven't thrown a pass in 12 minutes. I need you to go. You only have one chance and you have to. It's third down. He was very good at that. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't the reason Michigan won a national title, but he certainly did what he was supposed to damn near every time he was asked. But I think to succeed, they knew, hey, starting out with O'Connell, it started bad. They've tried to improve every year, and it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of stalemated. It wasn't the best. I think the stats would show you they were at least in the second half of the league for rushing. But I think this is how this quarterback succeeds: is you pound the football, and they kind of do it LA Rams style. We talk about Sean McVay and Matt Stafford and that, oh, you have Puka Nacua, you had Cooper Kupp there forever. They run the ball just as good, if not better, than they throw the ball. And I think that part of where he came from is going to shine really hard this year.
Well, I think the Vikings absolutely fleeced the 49ers when it came to getting Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
every report I've read so far has been he is almost going to split carries with Aaron Jones in Minnesota.
At the end of the year. That's
very possible.
I don't think it's bold at all to think that. I think it's just the age and the timing. Doing so, on paper, the Niners didn't have a successful season, but you can understand with circumstances like that same year last year, the year before, the Vikings, Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles, right? They were on an upward trend. They did what they could. They still finished damn near at 500 with a merry-go-round at quarterback, right? Same thing with the Niners last year. When Christian McCaffrey goes down, you're like, well, there goes, the wheels are going to fall off. And you're like, damn, that dude's actually pretty good. Who the hell is he? I was shocked when the Vikings got him in the offseason. That was the biggest shock for me because I think we all knew after watching that Rams playoff game they needed to do something with the line. Wasn't shocked when they went out and got some offensive linemen. But I'm excited.
And I'm not sure J.J. McCarthy needs a strong rushing game with him. I think people are sleeping on his arm, but I do think that having the ability to run the ball effectively is really going to help J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a negative, but I mean, you are talking about essentially a rookie quarterback who's going to be playing for the Vikings this year. If you could have a true two-headed monster at running back out there where you can get positive yardage and then play action, and you can give McCarthy some easy reads up front where, off play action, you're getting the ball to Hawkinson, to Thielen, to Jefferson out there. That's a great way to kind of get him going, get his NFL career going. And as the season progresses, you can kind of ramp the offense up and get him more up to speed. Although from everything I've heard, like you said, Adam, I really don't know how much up to speed you're going to have to do with McCarthy. I've heard nothing but positives on him being incredibly intelligent, his football IQ wise, and his command of the huddle, being able to get calls out on time and to be able to read a defense. So I'm fingers crossed. Hopefully, we're set really good right now.
And Minnesota went out and they beefed up that offensive line and got him some support there. And JJ McCarthy has weapons all over in that offense, so they are putting him in a real good situation where he will have an opportunity to thrive.
Well, another way they supported him too, they shipped off Sam Howell to the Eagles. This was crazy to me, but I kind of love
I
that
can't
they.
believe I can't believe they got anything for Sam Howell.
It's
I
true.
thought they were
I
going to eat what they traded for him, and don't get me wrong, Minnesota didn't give up much to get Howell. Would they do trade down like 2 rounds or
they
something like that?
they like flipped draft picks. So essentially, they just went back in the same draft, and you got Sam Howell. Like that, don't even who. That's one of those. Who cares? You took a flyer on a quarterback. You moved back some spots. Who cares? It didn't
It
work
didn't work
out,
out.
and somehow you got more for him, even though he sucked. I don't understand what the Eagles are smoking, what they think they can get out of Sam Howell. Sam Howell looked atrocious for the
Real
Vikings
bad.
at time, like real bad.
That
Some of his
decision making at points looked real bad.
oh boy.
Well, I wish we could have transitioned to the 53, but we still have a couple things to talk about until then. It's crazy that he looked that bad. The Vikings still somehow made, I would say, a profit on it and didn't lose their ass on that trade.
Yeah.
But it brings it into, I can't believe Carson Wentz is entering his 10th year in the league. The first 5 years with Philly, won a ring with them. Then since 2020, he's been on a different team every year: Philly, Indy, Washington, the Rams, and the Chiefs last year. But I think this is probably one of the better case scenarios that they could have done as far as Minnesota, because you're going to get a guy with a lot of experience who was an MVP front runner his second year in the league, and he's been with two or three of the best teams in the last 10 years pretty recently. So he's with Philly for 5 years. They won a ring, their first championship with Doug Peterson while he was there. LA Rams, he's 2 years removed after, it's with Sean McVay and Matt Stafford. And last year, he sits behind Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I don't want this guy to be my starter, but if I want anyone to coach the young quarterback up and have that Cousins type of mentor role, this is the perfect guy to do it. I just need him to come off the bench in case McCarthy tweaks his ankle or something. I think this is a great pickup for the Vikings.
He's clearly settled into that I'm a backup quarterback now role in the NFL,
Yeah.
where you bounce around to different teams, whatever. Like you said, he's a veteran player. He at one point he did play at a high level, like you said, and if they were willing to let him, if Andy Reid was willing to trust him to be Patrick Mahomes' backup. Like I'm fine with him being JJ McCarthy's backup here in Minnesota as well too. It's an upgrade from Sam Howell. In a perfect situation, he will never see the field for the Vikings because McCarthy is just fine all year.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's like a that makes sense kind of a move. Like I don't truly feel that strong one way or the other with it.
So I was a little disappointed that Brett Rippon was let go, but Minnesota let him go early, so he had an opportunity to find a new team, and he did. He signed
Did
with the
he?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, good for him.
See, I didn't know that.
Good for him. I appreciate that for the,
Because he was not terrible in Minnesota. He did pretty well.
No, he wasn't. He continues to deserve a shot to show that he can make a 53-man roster out there.
Just because I love doing this every time I can on this show, would you like to guess what Carson Wentz has earned through his 9 years in the league? I'm not.
Probably
I don't feel bad for him at all. He's doing fine.
probably a shitload of millions.
Yeah, it's just to show you how big the gap is, and it went. 2020 was his greatest payout, and it's went down significantly every year from that. But yeah, $132.7 million in his career. So he's all right. He's going to be fine. He's not going to
Super Bowl champion Carson Wentz.
There you go. Former MVP vote getter, which is crazy to say. But I said this in our chat the other day to be funny. Does Kevin O'Connell have a type? Does he like a three ginger from the Midwest? Is that what he likes? The other side of the country? Is that his thing? Because this is
seems
twice
all right.
2 years in a row that Kind of has the same kind of guy because Sam Darnold has the same kind of figure, build, and look to him.
I
Look
hate
But
to
out! Look out,
say it.
Max Brosmer. Andy Dalton's coming in.
that's funny.
This is also I'm gonna jinx the team right now, but Carson Wentz is also the perfect. You thought he was washed up until he got to the Vikings and then somehow had that magical season kind of weird quarterback that we sometimes end up upon. And I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I truly believe that JJ McCarthy is going to play damn good football for the team this year. But man, this just has Vikings bad luck, but also how come Carson Wentz is randomly this good vibes written all over it. And I don't want that to happen, but
Well, Wentz was sitting behind Patrick Mahomes last season, so
yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Wentz looks like a Viking. Yeah.
So before we get into the roster breakdown, because there's a couple of guys that made the team that are very surprising. I watched the video today with Tatum, what's her name, Everett, Paul Allen, and Pete Bursich. I think it was like 7 rookies made the team, which is unheard.
Seven undrafted rookies.
Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, honestly.
There's a discussion that's been kicking around on the internet that I wanted to bring up about the undrafted rookies. So people, we like to joke that our GM can't draft worth a shit. Do the undrafted rookies count, Adam? Does that count like when you evaluate a GM on like their draft class? Like how
It
do you
should, but I don't think it does.
I mean, you have to take the whole
it
totality of what the GM does into consideration. But if we're going to talk specifically, like, well, how is he drafted? I mean, Quessie's been about 50-50 in his drafting so far. But overall, I think he's about at 65 to 70% positive because all the free agent stuff, this technically is free agent stuff, it's
yeah.
been pretty good, especially signings like, letting go of Daniil Hunter hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Letting go of Thielen hurt a lot, but they got Jordan Addison that year. Letting go of Daniil Hunter hurt, but you get Van Ginkel and you get Grenard. And you're like, well, shit, that kind of worked out,
Yeah.
You wish that he
Some
would nail it in the draft more, but he's not. There's been worse GMs. There's been worse GMs in this building. So we get it.
so, someone on the Vikings deserves extra credit points out there for what they're doing in with these undrafted free agents they're bringing in. And I mean, we're talking guys like Ivan Pace that they can come in who are starters. And it's not just like a flash in the pan. Like, Ivan Pace is legitimately a good player out there for the Vikings. So someone in the scouting department is doing a fantastic job.
Dwight McLaughlin made the 53, right?
Yeah.
Let me check.
He's an undrafted free agent, and I liked what I saw from him last year in training
Sure
camp
did.
and preseason.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I want to do the game first because I have so many things. Like the 53-man roster is a whole. We could have talked strictly just about that for half an hour. We probably will, but we should do the due diligence to say they went to Tennessee and Nashville. They played their final preseason game. They lost 13-23. Only Max Brosmer, which they keep saying everywhere on today in the video that it's Brosmer, which I love even more because he is just one of the boys. So Max Brosmer apparently, yeah, the only touchdown in the game. Him and Rippon played in the game. I think Brosmer played the first half. They were talking about. Um,
And Tennessee played their starters,
oh, nice. That's a good
which was
touch.
kind of wild to see.
Yeah.
Tennessee's ones go against Minnesota's threes. It's like, what?
I'm going to pause it for half a second. Hi, Ellie. Thank you for watching. Your dad's awesome. He loves watching the show, and we love having him. But thank you for watching, too. We wanted to say hi. Jonathan and Charlotte, our regulars, probably the biggest pillars on the show, or at least one of the. You guys are
Always
on the
happy
Mount
to have them here.
Yeah, you guys are on the Mount Rushmore for us on this show. We appreciate y'all. So yeah, I'm not going to go down. We usually break down every single part, rushing, receiving, all that. But yeah, none of the
And
starters played, and I'm fine with that, especially the last
that game,
biscuit.
I thought that game in particular solidified Max Brosmer, his his spot on the 53-man roster. I thought he looked pretty good. He had a couple real nice throws in that one, some good decision making. He looked like he belonged out there on the team. He's a player that I hope the Vikings can keep around and develop kind of into that long term number two number two backup quarterback behind J.J. McCarthy.
Everything I've ever heard Kevin McConnell say, Coach O'Connell say about him, I I think he really likes what he sees and is really wanting to develop him into being that guy that can be a QB2 in the future. So I hope that is something that can continue to grow and develop and happen
It
for
would be
him.
really nice. It would be really nice to have a 1-2 quarterback tandem on this team where you're not season after season going to the bargain bin and being like, it's Carson Wentz as our backup this year. It's who's the Carolinas quarterback? Bryce Young. It's Bryce Young this year because they ruined him. We'll take him as our backup now. Like I kind of just want to have an established 1 and 2 and be done with it for a while.
So what do you think of some of the media outlets out there saying that Minnesota's going to end up with the number one pick and they're going to get Arch Manning?
Who
That's
said that?
absolutely.
I don't remember who it is, but I know somebody on our team wrote an article about it.
Jesus Christ. I'll tell you this. I'm going to compare us to the Colts for a minute, right? They're starting Daniel Jones. You're not going with the guy that you drafted. I think it's pretty damning for Anthony Richardson, but that's a whole nother story that we don't have to worry about. They won 8 or 9 games last year, and they didn't know what the heck was going on. He pulled himself from a game. Like, there's drama. We have just as much, if not a better, stacked roster than the Colts. You're not getting the number. To get the number one pick, you're only going to win like 2 games.
And if
This
Minnesota
de-
does get the number one pick, they're probably not taking a quarterback.
Well, the good thing is I believe them when they say this. Arch Manning's not doing 1 year and coming back. Like, that family can do whatever they want. If they want to do another Eli and say, I'm not going to New Orleans because that place is a shit show, they already said, hey, he's not coming out after 1 year. So that whole, like, we're going to tank for Arch Manning, like, are you going to be shitty 2 years in a row? Do you just not like your job because you're going to get fired? You can't
this
last
Vikings
in
dude,
the NFL like that.
this Vikings defense, they will be able to ride it to a 10-win season just based on defense alone.
It is so weird seeing how people are evaluating this team right now because the only real question marks right now are can
McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy be an efficient quarterback, and do the Vikings have enough depth and talent at cornerback to hold up against opposing wide receivers? Those are my only questions right now.
Well, it's
Yeah,
funny you mentioned corner because I'm looking at the defensive stats from that last preseason game. And I forgot to mention some names that left. Mekhi Blackman got traded to the Colts. A lot of stuff happened to get these draft picks in order, which I have. Let me find in my text here as I filibuster for just a second. Shout out to my buddy Matt Titus. He's our resident Colts fan / used to be in Minnesota, so he adopted the Vikings as his NFC team. But I texted him the other day, and these have changed with the Thielen trade, but this is next year's picks right now. The Vikings have a 1, a 2, 2 3s, a 4, 2 5s, 3 6s, and 3 7s. They got all of this, trying to get a little ammo to go get Thielen, and they got some stuff in return. I realized that one of those, I think, left, and then another came back, and then that's not even counting 2027. But they have a lot of ammunition. I thought it was weird, though. I thought Mekhi Blackman showed promise. And, getting off of this game, which I don't care to talk about because it's not really important, and to talk about the 53, the Vikings are only going in right now with 4 cornerbacks. I would like to see them add another because that's not enough. It's not enough corners to have. You need 5 or 6.
There's a move coming. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if they're gonna make a splash move, if there's any kind of disgruntled corners that are available in the NFL that the Vikings would go after. But it feels like at the minimum you're calling like a Stephon Gilmore on the phone and pulling him off the couch to at least come in and kind of have another veteran corner who knows this defense out there. Sauce Gardner. Boy, we could hope. Could you imagine? Could you imagine Sauce on this defense? Lord.
And I'm excited to see Isaiah Rodgers and see what he can do, but you need more depth and talent behind those starters. Murphy's good. Rodgers is interesting. But past that, it's some question marks.
Yeah, let's jump around. Normally we'll go up top and we'll talk about quarterback and go down, but that's the one that jumped out to me with this because there are levels of surprise here that are optimistic and positive, and then the one that surprised me on Vikings.com yesterday, 4 cornerbacks. Number one, that's not enough, period. But
yeah,
Byron Murphy, Isaiah Rodgers, Dwight McGlothern, and Jeff Okudah. Two of those, I have no earthly idea if they are any good or not. And that's not a shot at them to say I think they're bad. But up until this point, I haven't seen Dwight McGlothern play starting corner play in the NFL. And Jeff Okudah's had a pretty bad career being a number 3 overall pick.
I know you hope that they can fix that, but boy, oh boy, are you entering a situation really close here where you've got him covering another team's like number one wide receiver, which historically has not gone well for him in his career. And that is going to be, I don't want to be giving him a donkey each and every single week here on the podcast. So can we figure something out, guys? Can we figure something a little better out on that corner room?
Well, here's what we have at the moment. I'm on Sharp Football Analysis to give them their credit. Best cornerback free agents right now. So there's Asante Samuel Jr., who I would run and go grab. Rasul Douglas is a good name. You could try another year of Stephon Gilmore. Loved Kendall Fuller when I believe he was on the Bears, right? Emmanuel Mosley, Trey Flowers, Kayvon Wallace, Troy Hill, Cameron Sutton, C.J. Henderson. And then it starts to get down to the who do we have down here? The Duke Shelleys, the Harrison Hands, the Cameron Dantzlers. Like, I'm good with those guys. We know what they are. But there are some good names that might be a little older or more injury prone that you would just want to put in for, like, hey, I know you played the position well before. That way we're not completely relying on an unknown, because I name Isaiah Rodgers too. And while he is a Super Bowl champion from last year's Eagles, he wasn't one of the starters. He was a rotational dude. So you're putting a lot of faith in a very crucial position group on this team. That's the thing that stood out to me the most when I looked at this initial 53 that came out as like okay, that one rubs me a little wrong way, makes me a little scared. But man, this D line and these linebackers and all these
Oh boy.
potential guys that we've got.
Oh boy.
The defense first. Let's just talk about the defense first, and we'll talk about the offense last.
Start. Yep.
I can't believe that we have Chaz Chambliss made the team. Shout out to him. That's amazing. You have Austin Keys, Kobe King, and Eric Wilson's back as your inside linebacker.
Kobe King. I'm excited for
Thomas,
him.
Jay Ward at safeties. We have Metellus. We have Harrison Smith. Theo Jackson got a contract early. You knew he was going to make it. The specialists stayed the same. That was cool. And then the D-line completely changed, like talking about the front seven here. Jonathan Allen, Jonathan Hargrave, great additions. Jalen Redmond's back. Ty Ingram Dawkins made it.
Hell yeah.
Levi Drake Rodriguez made it.
Hell
Elijah
yeah.
Williams made it.
Who?
And then
Now, keep in mind, while you're talking about the specialists, the Vikings did not have to cut Oscar Chapman because he's part of the International Players Program.
Practice squad. Yeah. I've got those saved for last to talk about the practice squad. Yeah, that's a good point, Adam. Obviously, you have for outside linebackers to finish it out. Grenard and Van Ginkel are going to be starting. You have Chambliss, Bo Richter, he's here again.
Oh yeah.
We always seem to forget about Dallas Turner's on this team. I can't wait for him.
By the way, we have our other first round pick. He's going to be out for you playing for us, dude. This D line for this team is like, maybe we don't need corners. Maybe we're just going to wreak so much havoc immediately up front. Like,
that's the hope, is that the edge rushers can keep getting there and make it easier on those cornerbacks.
Well, right now, all the pressure is going to be on them to do just that, Adam.
Well, here's the thing. You want to build your team like the Eagles or like the Chiefs, right? And you just want to have studs everywhere. But if you do it correctly, where you have guys that do their job, like think about it for instance, over the years before Danielle Hunter became a starter. You remember he had double-digit sacks as a rotational dude. Patrick Jones had 7 sacks last year. He's not a starting defensive end. He's a great piece. Maybe he'll finally develop into one. But there's a lot of guys in the league like this. The majority of them are, hey, I made the team. I'm the backup linebacker. I'm the backup safety. I'm this. I'm the rotational nose tackle. I think at every level of, okay, this is our third stringer here for the defensive line. This is our backup guard. I think everywhere on this team, the people that are there are very admirable. And I know you might think of that to be like maybe an elementary word to make it sound better, but I think it is very good. I think the depth everywhere, looking at these names and seeing what we saw, man, I haven't been this excited for the depth in a while, you know? And what I really took away from was they addressed the fact that they were getting bullied on the interior offensive line, went and fixed that immediately. Hopefully that worked. And then they also were like, hey, we're okay in the middle trying to stop the run, but we need to be better. And they went and just got a ton of beefcakes to put in there, which I love. Nothing I love more than the big boys on the team. And man, I love these names on this. I'm so jacked for this 53. I just hope they go out and add a corner defensively, and I'll feel a little better.
I know.
Yeah, that is the one thing to keep an eye on going forward the next couple of days is four. You can't go forward with four. You
It's just
can't.
injury wise alone. If somebody's probably going to get nicked up, and then you're just going to have the three starting the entire game. Like I know they can move safeties around and do all the different looks, but you got to have, I would say,
Right, like I know Jay Ward is like a hybrid player and he can play either, but you don't want to have to put him there almost permanently.
right. So here we go. Let's talk about the offense. There's no surprise here. JJ McCarthy is going to be your starter, backed up by Carson Wentz. And shout out again, once again, to Max Brosman for making the team. I think that was a smart move. We had questions a week ago. We're like, I don't know how we feel about JJ McCarthy. Sam Howell looks bad, and then Brosman is a good story, but I think this is much improved. So the quarterback room looks a lot better than it did even a week ago. Running backs, no surprise. Aaron Jones, Jordan
Really?
Mason.
Is there no surprise?
There's a surprise here. Ty Chandler making this roster
I thought that
surprises me.
Xavier Scott he had a very good case after the second preseason game. Yeah, Ty Chandler maybe a little bit, but I wonder if he's going to go down, and because CJ Ham is on injured reserve, I wonder if that's going to change.
One of those
You don't
guys
want
is
Ty Chandler in the backfield acting as a blocker. You don't want that.
yeah.
It's true. I'm trying to think of if we do add a corner, who might be on the chopping block, and my first name that I'm thinking of is Ty Chandler. Now,
Well,
Yeah.
isn't CJ Ham? What's going on with CJ Ham? Is he on some kind of
he's
temporary?
designated to return on Tuesday, is what it says here
That's
on
weird.
Vikings.com. So
Why? I don't know if I've ever seen it done like that before, but okay, whatever.
yeah, we'll keep an eye on the running back situation. I think one of those will change.
One of those, yeah, one of those guys is going to be out. Probably
Yeah,
Ty
because they got
Chandler.
5 running backs now.
Well, they have four currently without CJ Ham added, but
Plus CJ.
I think he'll come
Plus,
back.
yeah.
And we should start doing the farewell tour for him too, because how many more years are we going to keep saying that? Like eventually it's going to stop, but I think
Yeah,
he's still
4
safe.
halfbacks is too many.
Yeah.
And
Receivers,
4 corners ain't enough.
Yeah.
Receivers will change. Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor, Ty Felton, Tim Jones, and Miles Price because Jordan Addison is suspended. Jalen Naylor, I thought for sure would be a nice piece to offer up for trade bait because they just drafted Ty Felton in the 3rd round. Tim Jones and Miles Price, one of, if not both of those guys, are going to be gone.
So Addison doesn't count towards a roster spot right now?
It's not on Vikings.com. So
He is on, if you go all the way down to the bottom of the page, he's on the commissioner's exempt list. So
Yep.
I don't believe he counts towards the 53 right now, Adam.
So in order to bring him back up, they'll probably have to let someone go.
Someone's got to go. Yep.
Well, and when I say both, one of, if not both of those, Tim Jones and Miles Price will be gone because you just added Adam Thielen today, and this is 53. So somebody's got to go.
And
I'm
you're
not sure.
probably keeping Naylor around.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
think.
Oh yeah, Naylor will be around.
Yep.
The tight ends had a shocking name that was on there. He could be on the chopping block too, but T.J. Hawkinson, no surprise. Josh Oliver, great. Ben Urasek, shout out to you for making the initial 53. There was a lot of movement at that tight end 3 spot. It still doesn't say Johnny Munt, so I'm going to hold out hope that happens. Every year, I'm going to say that. He was the most Jarius Wright of tight end 3s you could ever ask for.
Did Nick Vanette make the list?
Let me see down here on the practice squad. Nope. And he's not on the 53.
Well, darn.
I know. And then who's the other guy, the big Guido that we had? Did he even come back? No, Minnesota terminated the contracts for Vanette and Giovanni Ricci. So they'll find a spot somewhere else, I'm sure. Yeah, no surprise. Hawkinson, Oliver made it. So we'll see what Ben Urasek is come week 1, or maybe
Pretty
like
solid.
Can
Pretty
he
solid.
beat Johnny Munt?
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill. I hope you can. Make me forget the name, Ben. Make me forget the name Johnny Munt and the lore that surrounds. Offensive line, great changes from last year to this year. Darisaw, Donovan Jackson at left guard, center Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, probably the best offensive lineman name ever, ?
Yeah.
Brian O'Neill at right tackle. So you have Blake Brandell as your hybrid, Joe Huber, Michael Juergens, Walter Rouse, and Justin Skule. So that group has changed tremendously, and I love it.
Saying it. They've done everything on paper that they possibly could to address the offensive line from last year to this year. And it was interesting that we finally got to see Garrett Bradbury from the flip side when we played against New England. You get to watch him get shoved around. And it's like I'm glad we got rid of that guy and made the move. I
Yeah,
think
Ingram's
that
Dawkins shoved him right on his butt.
oh hell yeah.
The only thing that we have at the bottom of the list here from yesterday, the Vikings placed the following two players on injured reserve, designated for return. Tyler Batty, outside linebacker, and C.J. Ham, the fullback. Jordan Addison obviously is serving a 3-game suspension for the first 3 weeks. And then the following players moved from unable to perform to unable reserve, physically able to perform, is Gavin Bartholomew. So we'll see for him, the draft pick from this year. We'll see where he ends up. That goes on to, and this is 1 hour ago from Sports Illustrated, the 16-man practice squad. So here are the names that are there. Henry Bird, guard. Dante Fleming, wide receiver. Khalif Halasi, safety. Jonathan Harris, defensive line. Lucky Jackson and Deshaun Jones, wide receivers. Tim Jones, wide receiver. There we go. I'm answering my own question from up top. Vershawn Lee, the guard. Fabian Moreau, cornerback. Gabriel Murphy, outside linebacker. Really excited to have him on the practice
I can't
squad.
believe he cleared.
Really excited about that. Bryson Nesbitt, tight end. Max Percher, tackle from the International Player Pathway. Taki Tamani, defensive line. Xavier Valade, running back. Nick Vanette, tight end. And Zemaya Vaughn, another cornerback. So there's your practice squad currently. That'll change, but it's fine.
Practice squad will change about 800 times between now and week 1, and then another 800 times as the season progresses. So don't
All
be
right, so
buying jerseys
completely
yet.
off the mark here, and to ask you guys a question that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. But Fox has signed a new person to being a game analyst, and I don't know if I want RG3 on Fox. What do you guys think?
I'm not for or against it. There are worse guys out there. God, what's that one? I got to find his name. He's always on the 1 o'clock window for like CBS. And it's just, I would rather stick a nail in my ear. Good God. It's not Jonathan Vilma. It's the other guy. Charles Davis, maybe?
Charles Davis, yeah.
Good God. It sucks. So it's like listening to a robot computer from 1989. I hate it
Well,
so much.
RGC is going to replace John Fanta, and I don't think people really have an impression. Like, if you say John Fanta to me, I can't picture who that is.
Is he the orange Fanta or the grape?
I knew you were going to go there with that.
Do you remember when Aaron Rodgers used to play the Vikings and put an orange crush out on the table?
Oh, the grape crush. Yeah,
The Grape Crush,
yeah. So good. MC Sports, what's up? Talking about these roster moves, the Thielen thing. You know what? Adam Thielen sparked a change in me today. I was done. I hadn't played fantasy football in almost 3 years. I'm playing it again.
Back.
I'm back. And you know what my team name is going to be? It's going to be more than
Hooked on a Thielen.
Absolutely, dude. I gotta. Especially like my Carolina home base. Everybody in the group chat there texts with like sad stuff. I was like,
But you're not going to be one of those guys that names your team after a player who isn't on your roster, are you?
Well, some people do it for the pun now, and there are some racy, crazy team names out there. Like, what are you doing, Step Burrow? Like, I had me dying. Some of those I will not say on here just because the internet lives forever and I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, it'll be somebody related to my team or somebody that my favorite team is, like a Vikings related one or somebody that I draft. But yeah, I think I'm doing it. I don't want to. I don't like fantasy football like I used to, but I think I'm going to jump back in.
My fantasy draft is Sunday, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I think ours is going to be sometime this weekend as well. They kept saying, do you want to do it next Friday? And I'm like, guys, the first game is next Thursday. I think you should probably do it before then. But,
yeah, it might be a good idea.
I'm texting through that group right now. I'm going to be a terrible host and keep texting while I'm on here. Just kidding. So, yeah, we're talking about the Thielen return. A lot of stuff we covered, man, and I feel like we crammed it in there. But I'm just over the moon. I didn't think this was going to happen. You know, when you hear the nuggets on Rich Eisen and Pat McAfee and all these shows, and then it stops for like a week, you're like, oh, well, that's dead in the water. And Lo and behold, the Vikings just keep dealing and getting all these, ones and $5 bills in draft compensation. They're like, we'll figure it out. You knew
I
that it was
wonder
coming.
what I wonder what Carolina was initially asking for. That like you said, we know there were trade talks. We know they kind of died off, and then it picked up here right at the last minute. It makes me wonder if they were so bold at one point to ask for a third round draft pick for Adam Thielen.
Well, they really had no reason to let Adam Thielen go. They got a
Correct.
roster. They got a room full of a lot of young wide receivers that really could have used Adam Thielen as a mentor. And letting him go is an interesting move, especially with a young quarterback when you're trying to develop a team for the future. I'm surprised they let him go at all, to be honest.
Like after they let Hunter Renfro go, I was really surprised. I was like, there's no way they're going to let him go. I think they're doing Bryce Young a disservice, but I don't know. They could shock everybody. That division outside of Tampa Bay is wide open. The New Orleans Saints are an absolute garbage can, and I don't know. I don't. The Falcons don't scare me. Sure, they're better than the Panthers, but we've seen crazier things happen. We've seen shitty teams win games when they shouldn't. The Bucks are the only real threat there. So if you want to be a pesky team that only wins 6 games, but you're a pain in the ass for everybody, why can't Carolina be that team?
It's true.
I still feel bad. I would never draft a quarterback that doesn't have a 6 in front of his feet. Like, how tall are you? If it doesn't say 6 to start, I would never draft somebody, especially first overall. Are you crazy? I would never have done that. I don't know what they were thinking, but
So you wouldn't have drafted Kyler Murray, yeah?
not a chance.
You wouldn't have drafted Drew Brees.
Here's my here's my question with that: if Drew Brees ended up with the Panthers or he ended up with the Browns, would he be the Drew
Yeah.
Brees that we know? That's
I
always
don't know. That's
situation
always
circumstance. So yeah, I don't know. Russell Wilson proved us wrong. Fran Tarkenton was small and ran around, but traditionally, I want the Drake Mays of the world. I need the tall Herberts, and I guess Joe Flacco's like 9 feet tall too. I heard that yesterday. I didn't know that. Give
But
me
there's also
a tall quarterback.
the flip side of this too. You don't want to get into Brock Osweiler height because then that don't work either.
That
You
gentleman
got
was
to have
very tall.
Damn, Joe Flacco's 40 years old. What are you thinking? Stop playing football, dude. You've already won. Okay, he's played for, it doesn't tell me here. I'm on Pro Football Reference. 6'6, 245. Good God, I didn't know he was that tall. Nice. I also didn't know that he played football at Pittsburgh. Why did I not know that? Okay. Well, that's your Joe Flacco stuff that you needed to hear today. I appreciate that. What's up, Fire Breather? Yeah, Thielen's back. We were breaking that down. We're really pumped about that. Like I said, right about the bye week, we should figure out where everybody's role is. But I think that's going to be really good for McCarthy. Jefferson number 1, Addison number 2, security blanket in their tight end that's trustworthy, and then Adam Thielen will be running around there pissing people off at the wide receiver 3 position. So like JJ McCarthy, you have everything you need.
The
I
big
do
winner out
love
of all this might be Ty Felton, who gets another really experienced wide receiver in that room that can show him route running and work with him on hands, and it's just a great idea.
That's a good point, Adam. Sorry, I'm laughing at Jonathan's comment. Just for kicks, do you guys think the Browns will ever get out of the NFL toilet? I don't think so. I've made the joke not to be a blasphemer because I am a man of faith, but I think God hates the Vikings, but he surely hates the Cleveland Browns more.
I used to think the Lions were going to be a joke forever, and they are not a joke right now, that's for sure.
You just got to get a good coach and GM, and then everything can turn around. It's hard to get both of those at the same time. But man,
The jury's still out on the Bears, but we'll see.
yeah, what's sad is talented as Caleb Williams is, if he doesn't look great by the end of this year, definitely by the middle of next year, he's going to go somewhere else. And he'll get tossed around until he finds a good spot, which I'm proud to say we talked about here on the show. I specifically said you're going to see more rotations of Sam Darnold's and Baker Mayfield's, and it's going to happen to Anthony Richardson, it looks like. He's going to end up on a team, get another chance. So it's good that they'll get more chances, but they're going to have to work twice as hard to be seen because the patience in this league is next to nothing. It's crazy. I don't know. It's crazy too. Didn't Kevin Stefanski? I know he won it once. Did he win Coach of the Year more than once? Let's look. I think it's at least one time. But they got
The
a good.
thing about the thing about the Browns that would have to be frustrating if you were a Browns fan is they've been terrible for so long. For so long, Cleveland was terrible. And then you had Baker Mayfield, and you had your guy. You had your guy in your building, and you played him when he was hurt, and he didn't play well because he was hurt.
But you thought you were getting
Okay.
that proven guy in Deshaun Watson. You thought you were getting him.
Did anyone actually think that?
I
Because
think so.
I feel like everyone outside of Cleveland was like, "Really? This dude?"
I'll tell you what I heard the other day because you guys know if you know me and you listen to every detail on the show, like our faithfuls, like Fire Breather and MC Sports and Jonathan and Charlotte, I consume sports media every day for hours. It's kind of bad. Like at work, on the way to work, on the way home, sometimes at work. And I listened to like the AFC North preview, right? Everybody agrees Cleveland's in a shitty spot because Joe Flacco's 40 and they kept two rookies at quarterback. But the weird thing is, and I just looked it up, we've already forgotten this. Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year in 2020. I think that was the Baker Mayfield year. And then 2 years ago in 2023, he's a two-time Coach of the Year. He ain't
He's
the
a good
issue.
coach. He's a
The
good
problem
coach.
is when you
He's
go
gonna
get,
get fired.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Uh, when you go get Deshaun Watson, the best thing he did when he was in Houston, football wise, was run around and make plays on his own. Kevin Stefanski doesn't have that. He was thriving with a guy like Kirk Cousins, who's like, "Hey, on this play, you throw the ball here or here. If not, you get the fuck rid of it. That's what you do." And that's not what Deshaun Watson does. So the fact that they paid him that much money and a guy that kind of doesn't fit what that coach really wants, I really feel like that's the owner pushing his thumb into everything, kind of like a Jerry Jones. But they have the coach to do it. It's clear, and they have some good people. Like they have good defensive players. They've got a couple good offensive players, but I don't know, man. 40-year-old Joe Flacco, and then I'm still. What? When was the draft? April, May, June, July, August. 5 months later, I'm still confused. How you go get a quarterback in the third round, and then you go in the same 24 hours, and you go and get another one in the fifth. For what reason? Like it just creates a weird vibe there. Like I understand if the Vikings had been the ones that drafted Sam Howell, say last year, and he kind of looks like shit, and they're like, "Hey man, it's shit or get off the pot. You get one more year. We're drafting a quarterback in the fourth round, and we're going to see if you're any good." Totally, I can see every franchise doing that, but traditionally, you don't see a team outside of Washington with the Kirk Cousins and
I
RG.
was going to say Washington RG3 and Kirk Cousins is probably about the best example
That's
you
it.
can give of, hey, we traded for our guy who we thought was going to be our franchise, and I still really did like RG3. I wish he wouldn't have got injured. He could have had probably a much better career, but like it did kind of work out for Washington on what they did.
I think it's good for them in the long run if one of those rookies becomes their starter in the future because every year that passes Deshaun Watson's contract, they're not going to renew it. They know they fucked up. They've already admitted openly that they fucked up with that
Yeah.
contract. So they're not going to renew it, but at least now, like if they had to cut him right now, they would eat like $100 million. They're not going to do that. They're going to keep him on the reserve, rehabbing, and then maybe he'll be like the backup next year or he'll be on the roster one more year. But that has to be the worst contract in sports history, I believe, for how much it was. And that says a lot because in the same time frame, Russell Wilson went to Denver and shit the bed completely. And they were like, 2 years, they were like, get out. We don't care for eating $50 million. Go away.
Yeah.
So kind of crazy, man. The NFL's, for all the stuff that we bag on them about, there's never a shortage of drama that we can talk about. That's for sure.
And all these contracts with guaranteed money are sure coming to bite some of these teams in the butt, trying to save some money in the long run by giving guaranteed money.
It's rough.
It's not always the best option.
I will say, while we have him on here, Fire Breather, good luck. Not to put too much of your information out there, but he is joining the United States Navy. We've talked a couple times, and wish you the best, man. You definitely.
So I got some news for you.
Okay.
The Seattle Seahawks released veteran cornerback Shaquille Griffin.
Come on back, sir. I've been
Come
saying
on
it
back
for a
home.
week.
Come on back, Shaq.
Oh, I've been saying it for a week. Bring him back, dude. That's my guy right there.
I am in on that. Get him back here.
Let me hold on.
Bring him.
The over the cap. Let me see how much cap.
Bring him. Bring Gilmore back. Come on. Now
No, I don't
now
want
we're
Gilmore. Gilmore didn't look
Yeah.
great last year. I want, if Asante Samuel doesn't cost a lot of money, he's not too old or too injury prone, I'm down. Go get him and bring in Shaquille Griffin. That would make me feel so much better. Let's go to teams. Oh, that's funny. The Vikings still have 26 million, but they got to sign Thielen officially. Yeah, they still have 26. Oh, they could definitely go get two
I
corners.
am down on
So
Griffin. Go get him.
Hell yeah.
why'd they release him? What's their cornerback room looking like?
I don't know, man.
They
Everything I've been hearing, Seattle might be sneaky good this year.
they
Yeah,
released him and added former Rams cornerback Darion Kendrick.
I haven't heard of him.
yeah, not super familiar.
Bronx, how do
Well,
you?
there
But
we
yeah, I
go.
saw
There's
that
a
Griffin was released, and I thought that could be a good reunion here again.
that's a
I
story to
didn't
look
think he did
forward
poorly
to.
his first time in Minnesota.
When I tell you this dog knows we've been talking for an hour, it's uncanny. He just walked in here all slow, and Eeyore legs like, "Are you done? I thought you were finished." Yeah, sorry, Adam had to throw in some. It's not breaking news, but it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up, Adam, because I've been pounding the table to bring that dude back. Yeah, finishing out. Good luck with your endeavors, joining the military, Fire Breather. We appreciate you coming on and always giving us your thoughts and input and joining us. Just hanging out mostly is all we can ask for you guys. Come back whenever, man. And I'm glad you got to pick a job that you wanted. I'm glad that that's what you ended up doing. You don't have to. Spoiler alert, I can tell you, being a 12-year active duty veteran, you don't have to sign anything. It's not forced. We're not in a draft. So if you want to join the military and you want a certain job or you want a certain branch, just be patient and wait. If you flirt with them a little bit, they'll wink back at you. I promise.
Have the Minnesota Vikings named their team captains yet?
I'm not sure. We should look at that.
Because the Titans named theirs, and they named Cam Ward a team captain.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, I am 100% on the Cam Ward stock. Everything this dude said. And did we talk about it last week or the week before? I think we talked about it last week. They were asking him, like, what are you going to do in the break between now and training camp? He's like, I'm going to throw the fuck out of the football. That's what I'm going to do. I'm like, yeah, I'll buy
we can
it.
pretty well guess. We can pretty well guess Vikings captains. Okay, so Harrison Smith, Justin Jefferson,
Probably Adam
C.J.
Thielen.
Ham, C.J. Ham, J.J. McCarthy. Would anyone disagree with that?
Official
Well,
AI,
you gotta have some players on defense in there.
AI overview, probably Grenard or Ginkle, I would guess.
Yeah.
The official team captains for the 25 NFL season have not been announced. This decision is made closer to the season start. However, Minnesota Vikings captain Josh Metellus recently discussed J.J. McCarthy in 2025 in July. So, yeah, I think Metellus for sure will be on there.
Ivan Pace?
Him or Cashman, maybe.
Yeah, man.
I mean, one of those guys, either Cashman or, the other inside linebacker is going to get the green dot this year. It's going to happen. Whether it's him or Pace, I don't know.
It'd be kind of cool to see Ivan Pace get the nod.
So we're going to let the last week of practice and gearing up. You remember the Vikings start the very last game of week 1, Monday night in Chicago versus the Bears. So I don't want to make a command decision for the three of us, but I think this time next week would be fantastic. It'll be the day before the season starts, or if you want to wait till Thursday, we can do it right before the season starts. The season starts next Thursday. Dallas goes to Philly. That'll be a wild, electric game to tune into. There's a Friday night game, too, in Brazil. The Chiefs and the Chargers are playing, which is crazy for Friday night football. But we're going to come back, and I think we traditionally do a schedule prediction to see where we're going to be at that time. Now that the roster will be set, that'll give them a week to probably add a corner.
Undefeated.
What's that?
Undefeated. I don't see a loss.
There it is. Yeah, well, they'll officially add Thielen. We'll find out official contract details, and then I'm guessing they're going to add a corner at some point or another, maybe more than that.
Shaq Griffin tomorrow. That's
I would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cam Akers is a free agent too. Save the draft.
Yeah, we don't need a 6th running back.
Although I did like the limited times that he was here. I just hate that he tear his Achilles like 2 years in a row.
Yeah, on each
that
leg.
Doesn't sound great.
Yeah, I don't like that for running back.
You kind of don't need that anymore.
And I have really liked what I've seen from Xavier Scott, so I'm in on him.
I think that about does it for this show. We've hit the hour mark, and we just love you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe, please. Wherever you're watching this right now, to all of you guys and our faithfuls that are here, hit the heart button, the like. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, please. If you hit the notification bell and you have the app, which you should, it's 2025. Why don't you have the YouTube app? Get it on your phone. It'll tell you when I schedule these things, and you can be a part of it so you don't miss it. Traditionally, we try to go around 6 or 7 p.m. Can't give you a guaranteed day of the week because it flexes, but we'll go after dinner time, around dinner time, so you guys can join in. But we just need all your support and help. And if you feel so inclined, share it to your Instagram story, share it on your Facebook as a status, whatever. Let other
We do
people
go
know.
live on Facebook, so you guys can catch us there if you want. We're also on Kick now, if you guys like Kick. We did not stream on Twitch today, but that's okay.
That's weird. I did have your Twitch.
Maybe we'll do that in the future.
I did have your Twitch up earlier. I'm not sure what happened there. I came in to change the. So I had a picture of what's his name? I just saved it earlier. Give me 1 second, and I will tell you.
Chris Farley.
Elijah Williams. I had a picture of Elijah Williams as the thumbnail for about an hour, and then they signed Adam Thielen, and I was like, "Sorry, bro, you're out." I'm putting Thielen back up on the thumbnail, so I had to go back.
That's pretty great.
But yeah, like and subscribe, please. If you would as well, and I'm going to put this up here so we have a visual for the people watching.
Oh yeah, comment, review us, do whatever you guys can, and we appreciate all that.
Go to the Viking Age. Adam Carlson works there. Our own Adam Carlson writes for the Viking Age. Please go click on his articles. That's how he makes a living.
We got an amazing team there that's always pumping out content, and they have been really busy putting out a lot of articles over the last couple of days. So if you need a Minnesota Vikings fix, head on over to thevikingage.com.
Heck yeah. You can find Adam at MN Viking Zombie on all social media.
Oh yeah, anywhere there's social media, you'll probably find me at MN Viking Zombie. Did you guys see that Spotify is adding a social media feature where you can send DMs now?
Oh, nice.
Is that nice?
I like it because I'm an Apple Music guy, and I share it like via text message all the time. But if you have a profile and you have another option to send, I love that. So if you can do it on whatever music platform you like to me, sharing songs and albums is like sharing recipes. And, if you make someone a meal, that means you really like them. If I share music with you, we have a connection of some level.
You don't share music with me.
What's that?
I am going to go.
You don't share music with me.
I share DMs with you, though. We're not going to talk about those.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I want to find strangers, people I do not know who are listening to shitty music, and be like, "You suck. You suck. Your taste in music is terrible. Delete your Spotify." Send.
What makes me laugh, speaking of wanting to DM strangers that their music taste is shit, here's Kyle West at Vaguely Square. Go ahead and follow him.
Check me out.
Speaking of that, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got engaged, and it pissed the internet off. And it's the two ends of the spectrum that I can't understand either one. Why people are so obsessed with a woman that doesn't know nor give a fuck about you. And then two, why all the conservative rednecks are so upset about the Cracker Barrel logo. These are the same fucking people. They just wear different shirts. What are we doing right now? I wanted to throw that into the show because it's funny. And
why do people care so much about either of those things?
When is the last time you guys have been to Cracker Barrel?
I have never eaten a Cracker Barrel.
I'll tell you, Adam, I will advocate for it. The food is good. You're not going to break the bank too hard. It's a step above in the South what Waffle House is. Like, for sure, the food is better.
So are you saying it's better than Pizza Ranch?
It's better. It's better than Pizza Ranch. Yeah. But yeah, what's funny is like you'll have it's the most southern redneck shit I've ever seen. There's that one old couple from the South that they ate at every Cracker Barrel in the country. For what reason?
Wow.
Why did you have to do that? But hey, you know what? Good use of free will, I guess. I wouldn't do that. But I had to bring that up, that both of those things happened. And it's just like when Democrats and Republicans scream at each other. I'm like, you guys realize you're the same exact people.
Oh, yeah.
The same exact people.
Meme it is.
And yeah, I thought it was funny. Somebody roasted Travis Kelce. Like, of course you see the typical like, oh man, that divorce album is going to be insufferable. Like that made me laugh. But somebody said, Travis was ready to propose after winning the three-peat, and he didn't get to, so he had to wait till August. Oh, that's fucked up, man. I
I
wish
saw people joking that the wedding ceremony is going to be during halftime of the Super Bowl. That would be
Oh
amazing.
God.
that would be
Oh.
insufferable, and then you deserve all the hate. I have to defend her though. She doesn't go on social media and say, "Okay, guys, I'm going to the Chiefs game Sunday. Make sure you stream. Make sure you flood the comments of all social media." Like she doesn't have to do that. She's a billionaire. She's just
Right.
going to hang out and support her dude. Like she's not asking
Yeah,
for that.
it's
What I was impressed with is that New Heights episode that she was on. She was talking about learning different coverages, and I'm sure she just memorized some jargon and spit it out. But she was like, "Oh my God, I was so pumped when we drafted Xavier Worthy." She's like, "Who am I?" And I was like, "That is kind of cool. I do like that.
That's kind of cool.
That is pretty sweet that she's like getting jacked about getting a speedy wide receiver. That's pretty sweet, but who cares? What they do doesn't affect me. I don't watch Chiefs games, so I don't give a fuck. I don't care."
the NFL could learn a lot from the NBA. The NBA is so good about being like, here is our celebrity in the audience, and you pan to him for 15 seconds, and then you don't talk about it for the rest of the game. It's just like a quick little thing. The NFL really does not know how to handle the celebrity in the audience in Taylor Swift. It's like, dude, you don't need to do the picture in picture. You can mention her before the game, and that's totally fine, and I don't think people would care. But
Speaking of
going
things in the
overboard
NBA
with
that
it.
the NFL needs to copy, the NFL needs to find their version of Shaq and Charles Barkley for the
Oh my God.
pregame shows.
Oh my
Well, we
God.
got Pat
I
McAfee.
was about to say Pat McAfee's waiting. Who's going to be his challenger?
Yeah.
Who is the most unhinged person that'll say whatever he wants? Is Everson
Antonio
Griffin?
Brown.
Yeah, let's get
And
Everson Griffin, Antonio Brown, and Pat McAfee to do all of the sports coverage for the NFL. Yeah. They'll do Red Zone from now on. God, that's
Oh
crazy.
boy. But that's all I've got for this week. How about you guys?
That's it for me, man. Thank you, everybody that showed up. We appreciate y'all.
All right, we'll be back. I think Mr. Smith said we're going to look at doing a win-loss prediction episode before the Monday night opener against the Chicago Bears in week 1. But regular
undefeated.
season is sneaking up on us. It's almost here, guys.
Yeah, 1 week
Exciting.
from this Monday. Pretty cool.
But, you guys, I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you for joining us in chat. And as always,